Hello and welcome back to the Awaara Musaafir show. In this episode, I talked to Raeyna. Raeyna is an indie musician. He has just released his debut track called Swarg. It's a really good track. It's a feel good track. So do check it out. And in this episode, I talked to Raeyna about the business aspect of music industry. He tells us about the distribution cases. He talks how exactly the numbers work. He also told us that how a content creator or an artist can use social media in the modern world. So, if you find this podcast interesting, do check it out till the end and make sure to hit the like button, subscribe button so this podcast can reach to many more people.
Hi
Okay.
Jasdeep. First of all, what should I call you, Jasdeep or Rena? Like, what do you prefer?
I would prefer Raeyna for the sake of this interview for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I was just going through your Spotify bio.
Mhm.
There you have written the meaning of Rena. So that was something
Right.
which clicked with me. It's very beautiful. Can you explain it to the audience as well?
Right. Okay. So Raeyna, it comes from like two, three instances and two, three significances. So
Yeah.
Raeyna essentially, like if you get into the word, if you get into the like the meaning of it, it actually means queen, right?
Okay.
If you look into the Spanish descent of it, and if you look into the Indian descent of it, Raeyna का क्या मतलब होता है? Raeyna is like night, right?
Yeah.
So basically both of these things they kind of reflect. So like the queen part, it reflects royalty, and the night part reflects darkness, right? Which both
Okay.
of them I think represents like a certain sense of detachment from an audience, from the common people,
Yeah.
from other human beings. And that's something I felt for my entire life. Like in my entire life I was detached with people. I had
Okay.
trouble making friends. I was bullied a lot in school, right? So
Yeah.
it's all about my past trauma. It's all from that. And I think the fact that I was able to accept that, the fact that I was able to incorporate it into something that
Yeah.
I would be identifying myself as, that's the biggest thing. I think that would be really cool. Plus, like I think we all have like this space
Yeah.
that we have in front of people, that we always like we hide our real selves, okay? And that is what the night significance is, that we know who we truly are. We just don't want to accept it
Correct.
because of the societal norms and because of people and because we want to fit in, right? But
Yeah.
does anybody actually ever fit in? Everybody's unique in
Yeah.
their
True.
own way. We're
True.
all a
Yeah.
minority in a sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's from that. So like it's got a deep meaning. And like I try to put my songs, like at least the compositions of my songs, in that way only.
Yeah.
Like how Swarg was very very orchestral and
Yeah.
very like grand and stuff like that, so I wanted it to have that so-called queen like feel.
Correct.
So
Correct.
yeah, something on those lines. That's what
Okay.
exactly the word means.
That's actually quite beautiful. There was one more thing in your Spotify bio. There's this line. It says that Rena is a singer who sings or makes music to make people cry.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, why do you want us to cry?
I don't know. It's like a when you look at music, you always look at it as something that makes you happy. You
Yeah,
look at it as something that you go to because you wanna spend time, and you wanna be happy, and you wanna
correct.
self stress away from
Yeah,
the stuff that you're doing. But it doesn't always have to be that.
okay,
People don't understand that music is supposed to aggravate your emotions. It's not supposed to make
correct.
you happy.
Yeah,
I personally, I am a big fan of music that makes me sad, because
okay,
it's so compositionally complex. Like happy to koi bhi bana sakta na, like it's all just
right,
major
right.
chords and stuff. Like sad
Yeah,
music is something that people have, like people it requires some kind of an expertise, it requires some kind of
yeah,
an emotion, and it requires some kind of a trauma, right? And I think the only thing that people relate with a lot is trauma, because everyone has had trauma in their lives. Nobody's
yeah,
like always 90 and 100% happy, right? People are sad.
correct,
So where is the music to make you feel those things? You get
correct,
what I'm
true.
saying? So,
Yeah,
and even if it makes you happy, it can make you cry, right? Khushi ke aasu, sort of a
huh.
thing. So
Okay,
at the end of the day, if you have crazy music, it is supposed to make you cry.
true.
The song that a song that I've ever heard in my life that had a huge impact on my life. It made me cry. It didn't make
Okay,
me go gaga over. It didn't make me
yeah,
jump on the bed. It made me
yeah,
cry, right? Because
yeah,
that's the only
true.
way I show my emotions. So like, I sing to make you cry.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing
Something on
about
those
music.
lines.
Like, the most beautiful thing about music is it touches you in a way that it makes you cry. and all your favorite
Right.
songs would be that, like in some way they'll make you cry. So,
Exactly.
like, so how did you get into music? Like, what was the story, or like what was that journey?
Um, Actually, the thing is, starting say when I was like, I think 4 or 5, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Starting say like I had like, so my dad was always into playing the harmonium, and
Okay.
he had a harmonium teacher coming over.
Yeah.
He really wanted to get into music, but he had never
Okay.
gotten the opportunity earlier in his life to get into music. So around the time I was born only, my
Yeah.
dad got into harmonium and stuff. Although his was like, it was not a very like consistent thing, like he left after
Okay.
that and all. But the
Yeah.
harmonium ended up being at our place, right?
Okay.
So I remember when I was like 4 or 5, I used to put my hands on the harmonium, used to try to play notes, try to figure out like Bollywood songs ka, the tune
Yeah.
like tan tung tung tung
Yeah. Yeah.
tung
Yeah.
tung, like not very very like a professional, but yeah.
Yeah.
So my parents always kind of knew that I had a musical ear, like somewhere. And I think
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to have a bunch of parents who were, aware enough to be like, okay, yeah, maybe we need to put him to music school. We don't know
Yeah.
anything about music at this point, but I think with the proper guidance, he can get
Yeah.
into it or whatever. So, but the problem with that was I actually saw Shiris's interview, and I was so
Yeah.
like, it was so relatable to me because my dad also has a transferable job, and I
Okay.
also have had like so many gaps while learning music because
Yeah.
like I started when I was, I guess, 7 or 8 in Ludhiana when my dad was posted in Punjab. So
Okay.
I did like music for like a year over there, tried learning the guitar over there, and then we had to move out. We got a transfer, so
Yeah.
that went away. And then beach mein I started playing badminton, so like ekdam hi
Okay.
cut off ho gaya tha music.
Yeah.
And then when I came to Delhi, when I was like around 12, so that's when my dad kind of like pushed me in a way because he knew
Okay.
that I needed it. He
Yeah.
pushed me in a way to, join the music school and learn the classical guitar and all that. So
Yeah.
I started when I was 12 learning the classical guitar,
Okay.
Western classical guitar, right? And I used to go to this place near my house. It's called Blue Note School. It's taught by this person called Pranay Gurung,
Okay.
and I think he's probably 90% the reason why I am this with music, because
Yeah.
he taught me stuff that I think like I was very very blessed to have learned
Okay.
that stuff, and from him too. So I did like classical guitar till grade 6, till I was like in 11th or something.
Yeah.
Then uske baad, 11th, 12th, I kind of, again went on a break because of my college, because of studies and because of
Yeah. Right.
everything. And then first year, when I came to college, that's when I joined Madhurima, which is the music society in my college.
Okay.
And Madhurima was a whole new ball game because
Okay.
I met so many people who have been doing, music, who
Yeah.
came from
Yeah.
similar backgrounds as me, and they are all coming together and they're all making music together, right?
Yeah.
So that was a great experience to be around those people, to learn from those people. I
Yeah.
still hold some of my seniors in like such high regard. Like, I don't know if you've heard of this band called Kapow.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
know
I
about
have. I
Kapow?
have heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kapaw's frontman Mayank Mittal, he's a
Yeah.
2 year senior of mine. He was in
Okay.
in in
Oh,
DT
that's
only,
nice. Yeah.
and yeah, he's like my elder brother. Like for
Okay.
Swarg, any problem that I had, like
Yeah.
while uploading the song or something like that, or
Yeah.
asking him if I can change this or change that,
Yeah.
and the first person I used to go to was Mayank. So similarly, Anurag is also
Yeah.
a person who was 3 years older than me, and Bharat, who's the bassist of Kapow. So all these amazing seniors, like we just created like a whole family out of it, which was
Okay.
great. um, and also in second year I started doing like taking vocal classes in Delhi School of
Okay.
Music. So that was under this teacher called Shivam Chawla sir, the brilliant
Okay.
teacher. I don't think anybody in Delhi has a better technique than he does.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff, like jo mera gala actually khula hai, right? That
Hmm.
was in my third year, which was during the a cappella in Madhurima that I was doing,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
because of Shivam sir. So like
Okay.
both of them made me practice so hard that I
Yeah.
actually ended up increasing my range, improving my voice and
Okay.
all that stuff. So
Okay.
that's been a little bit, that's the history of the whole thing.
Yeah. So you said that you started learning very early in life and then you took a break. So
Yeah.
I want to ask you, when, like as a child, is it easier for someone to learn music? because like if I have no formal training in music, from any angle I am not a musician, but I have noticed this when I was younger. um, there was a period of time when I could understand music much better, and now it is like I hear to music which I already know. Like there's some
Correct.
kind of relatability. So what do you think
Correct.
about that?
Definitely, man. I mean, like, if you have somebody who's younger to you, maybe like a younger brother, and
Yeah,
or a child for that matter in the future,
yeah,
that I think a young age is, and more than that, I think being aware. Like, I think a person, like, okay, think about it. If
yeah.
I belong to a family where there are only engineers, okay, everywhere there are
Okay.
just engineers. My mom's an
Yeah,
engineer, my dad is an engineer,
yeah.
my elder brother. So I'll also be very, very inclined to being an engineer, right?
Correct. Yeah,
Because that is the family I belong to.
yeah,
Similar to that, अगर मेरे घर पे 5 instruments होंगे, if I have a big grand piano at my house, obviously
yeah,
बात है, the younger child in my house is bound to be more curious about those things, and then
true,
is
true.
bound to
Yeah,
get into those things more, right?
yeah,
अब मेरे साथ I was lucky enough because there used to be a harmonium lying around.
yeah,
But for say my child, if I have a whole room which is just filled with musical instruments, and
yeah.
I spend 16 hours a day with him or her in that room, then obviously he or she is bound to learn that
True,
more,
true,
right? And
true. Yeah,
obviously the learning curve when you're a child is much faster as
yeah,
when you are a teenager. And that's the reason why
yeah,
my father at that point pushed me, because he
yeah,
knew that at the age of 12 I'll be able to grasp probably so much more than I'll be able to grasp at the age of 22. I'm 22 right
okay.
now, and I just got a first release. That's because I
Yeah,
started at 12, right?
yeah,
So that is the only difference. Like, and I think
okay,
बच्चों को, if you like, you need to see and you need to be aware. कि भाई हाँ, this kid actually has a really good musical ear. This
okay.
okay, he's figuring this out on his own. We didn't do
Yeah,
anything,
yeah,
so maybe he needs some direction.
yeah,
And मैं तो ये मानता हूँ, like, if you want to be a musician or something, like,
yeah,
start doing an instrument at the age of 6 or 7, man. That would be so cool. By
yeah.
the time you're 15, you're a prodigy essentially.
Correct,
Think
correct.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be so cool.
So I also told this to Shirish that I tried to learn guitar, but it didn't happen. Like I just couldn't.
Hmm.
Like you need to know like all those notes and all the keys, right? So that was really difficult for me because I started to like I tried to learn at a how should I put it? Like when I passed those years when I could learn, right? So I started
Hmm.
learning at like 18 or 19 maybe. So it was pretty difficult for me. But if you're a child, is it easier to learn instruments as well?
Definitely, definitely. When, like, see, it's just that when you're a child, your learning curve is
Yeah,
greater. And I'm not saying even right now you can't learn. I'm just
yeah,
saying right now, if you start learning, you will take probably 2 years to something you would have learned in one
correct.
year when you were 12 or 13.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
That will be true, and that's not true for you. That's true for anybody who wants to do
yeah,
music right now. But वहां पे learning curve ज्यादा better होता है, प्लस वहां पे ना तुम्हारी graspability ज्यादा होती है, because you don't have any distractions. Right now I
yeah.
have so many distractions in my life that if
True.
I try to take up something new, I'll always take that up in a negative way कि यार ये भी तो करना था, sort of a thing.
Yeah,
ये तो
correct, correct.
practice भी तो करनी थी. तब
Yeah,
क्या होता है, you're just in school,
yeah.
what are you doing all day? You're sleeping, going to school, eating, and then you're
Hmm,
playing the guitar, right?
hmm.
So that becomes relatively easier for you, because your
Yeah,
mind is a simple mind at that point. So
yeah,
तुम उस फील्ड में ज्यादा वो कर सकते हो, explore.
correct.
So that's the
So
only reason.
So yeah, so this is like when you're a child, it's a responsibility of your parents as well to try to push you
Yes,
into that thing, right? So we'll
correct,
come to
correct,
this later.
definitely.
Before that, I want to discuss something else with you.
Hmm.
So Swarg is your like first song that you have put it out like professionally.
Correct. That's correct.
So
This my debut release.
yeah, your debut release. Um, how how easy or difficult? Like what was this whole process like of putting out a song, and
Hmm.
what was that journey like?
Putting out the song, or coming up with the composition.
Both, like from start to end. Like what was the whole process like?
Okay, so see, for me, whenever I write a song or whenever I create a composition or a melody, it's not
Yeah,
like, so there are some people who sit down कि भाई आज
yeah,
मेरे को गाना बनाना है, आज मैं
yeah,
गाना नहीं बनाएगा जब तक मैं नहीं उठेगा यहाँ से.
correct.
I'm not one of those people. If I feel like it, if my emotions are aggravated enough for me to put it into words and then put it into melody and get a song out of it, great.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I don't push myself. I used to,
okay.
it never worked. So I
Yeah,
don't push myself anymore. Okay. So Swarg came about as naturally as it could. because I remember when I was in January, I started like working out. I started going to the gym, and when I
Yeah.
started going to the gym, I started listening to a lot of these instrumental beats and instrumental
Yeah.
tracks on
Yeah.
like on SoundCloud and stuff. Okay, and
Yeah.
one of those tracks was this track by Says on the Beat. He's a really big producer in
Okay.
India. He's matlab, he's blowing in the hip hop scene right now. And I
Okay.
heard one of his beats, and I instantly fell in love with it. Like that's what I used to play all day while
Yeah.
working out, all day while in
Yeah.
the house while listening to something, and I got obsessed. And then I think 2 or 3 nights later, मैं सुन रहा था, and I was just like, खामियां ढूंढी इस जग में बहुत
Yeah.
and then I instantly took out my phone and I started writing it. So
Okay.
the song writing part of it was, I'm not even making this up, was 35 minutes. I wrote the entire song in
Okay.
40 minutes, backs, tops,
Damn.
tops. Yeah,
Okay.
but of course the effort of it was definitely going on for the last 3 days because I was listening
Yeah.
to it again and again
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
again and
Yeah.
again, right? So I don't want you to think that I'm like some crazy writer who can write a song in 30
Yeah.
minutes. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
when
It
I
just
feel
it
like
just
it,
happened in the flow.
yes, yes. When it clicks, it clicks. When it doesn't click,
Yeah.
मैं 10 घंटे बैठूंगा तो नहीं लिख पाऊंगा. So I
Yeah.
wrote the song on the beat, and I wanted it to be like I wanted to put it out as a proper hip hop song, like because
Okay.
I listen to a lot of hip hop. Like
Yeah.
personally, I love listening to hip hop and R&B and stuff like that. So I wanted to put it out as that. But like फिर उसके बाद क्या हुआ? Like it got a little delayed. I
Hmm.
went on to other things and whatever.
Yeah.
And March, April के around फिर lockdown हो गया. ठीक है?
Correct.
And I was just like, lockdown हो गया. No one's gonna want to listen to a hip hop song. People want to listen to
Yeah.
stuff that makes them feel
Yeah.
good, that makes them, feel like everything's gonna be okay, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
And even right now, like that was the intent of the song. When I converted that to what it is right now with the acoustic guitar, with the harmonies, with everything,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
intent was that people listen to it and it makes them feel good. They cry,
Okay.
but the
Yeah.
feel because of the feel good,
Yeah.
right? So I
Yeah.
still sing to make you cry, but that's because you feel good. That's because you have hope that this
Yeah.
terrible time is probably gonna end. And anyone who actually messaged me saying that they love the song, like I at least asked them or told them, did the song give you peace? Did the song
Yeah.
make you
Yeah.
feel good? Like that's what's important. I don't care about the streams or I don't care if you streamed it 100 times. Did it make you feel good?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when they say yes, I'm like, yeah, okay, purpose served, sort of a thing. So
Okay.
ये हुआ, and then I went to the studio in like in July. So I
Yeah.
remember 5th July I went to the studio. उससे एक हफ्ते पहले I talked to my engineer. So my engineer goes by the name of Kartikeya Sharma.
Okay.
On Instagram you can find him as Brew My Mix, and he's one of the most like he's the most picky guy I've ever met in my life because he won't work with you if he doesn't like you. But
Okay.
when he starts working with you, he will, if you're giving your 100%, if you think you're giving your 100%, he's gonna give his 200%. Like
Okay.
you will at the end of this say कि भाई इस बंदे की वजह से track इतना अच्छा हुआ है. And
Yeah.
मैं अभी भी बोलता हूँ like Swarg is Swarg because of Kartikeya, because of his
Okay.
engineering, because of the way he recorded it.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. At least the musical part of it.
Yeah.
So जब वो हुआ, जब mix and master खत्म हो गया, तो I remember on the 22nd or the 23rd of July is when I signed up on DistroKid. So DistroKid
Okay.
is a distributor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know about distributors?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so distributor से मैंने फिर वो किया, and that's when I put out the song. So I had around a month before the song was going to release when it was already up. And I think the biggest part of the song, apart from the recording and the musical part of
Yeah.
it, was the marketing. I went
Okay.
all out on the marketing. I
Yeah.
went insane
Yeah.
on the marketing, and I still proud myself. So my partner Malvika was essentially the brains of the whole content. She
Okay.
wanted to be okay. This is gonna go here. This is gonna go here. This is gonna go here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna do it like this. And
Yeah.
like I still kind of owe that to her because it's because of her that I had such a massive engagement and people were
Yeah.
so excited about the song. कि मतलब
Correct.
ये आने वाला sort of a thing.
Yeah.
So definitely the biggest aspect of the song was the marketing, and the
Okay.
biggest person to actually credit that to is Malvika. So
Okay.
I mean that was the journey, and then when it came out, of course,
Yeah.
the post promotion and asking
Yeah.
people to listen to it, asking people to pre-save it and whatever. So वो तो चलता ही रह रहा था, but this was the idea from the composition to
Yeah.
the distribution to the release essentially.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, like when the idea of this song first hit you, what was that moment like? Like you said that you wrote it in like 30-40 minute stops. So,
Hmm.
and after writing, what were you feeling like? What was that moment like?
I was pretty happy, man. Like I'm not even kidding. I
Yeah.
wrote it. I was like, I was just listening to it. I'm like, damn, yeah, this is good. I
So,
think I
but
should make this.
you had any idea
Yeah.
that it will blow up to this proportion?
Honestly, no. Honestly, no. I think I remember telling people, like whoever was
Yeah,
close to me. I remember telling Malvika only, most probably, that I want to have 1,000 streams in a week.
yeah,
That's my target. I
yeah.
want to, if this song works well, for me, a success would be having 1,000 streams
Correct.
in 7 days.
Yeah.
I had 8,000 streams in 7 days. Okay, so
And right
by
now
the
it is at
first second,
10,000, right?
it's at 11 almost. It's at
Okay.
10,800. It's
Okay.
touching, and it's actually lagging. So like the Spotify का thing is, अभी वो मुझे 3rd September के वो बता रहा है, and अभी
Okay.
it's almost 5th. It's
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
gonna be 6th, right? So
Yeah.
it's lagging almost by 46, 48 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
अभी तक it would be 12,000, but I'll get to know that
Or
2 days
probably
before,
more than
sort of,
that. Yeah.
or probably more than that. You
Yeah.
you don't know right now. So I wasn't expecting that kind of response. And the पहले दिन 1,000 हुए ना, then I was
Yeah.
just like, oh shit, okay, what is happening? What is? I was on the phone. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It's like nothing is happening. You just underestimate yourself. That's what's happening. And
Correct.
then we pushed it for the 10K in 10 days, and it actually hit 10K in 10 days. So
Okay.
like it gave me confidence ki what I made, the vision that I had in mind, more
Yeah.
than the numbers. Forget about the numbers. The vision that I had in mind, people understood that vision,
Yeah.
which is I
Yeah.
think is a bigger asset than having 10,000 or 100,000 streams. कि अगर इनको समझ आ रही है ना मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, तो अब
Yeah.
मैं जो बोलूंगा they will be able to relate with that. तो अगली बार जब
Correct.
मैं कुछ बोलूंगा, मुझे ये सिखाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, मुझे समझो कैसे. वो
Hmm.
उनको समझ आती है. You
Yeah.
get my point? Which
Yeah.
is I
Yeah.
think for an artist that is the biggest connection point. कि my
Yeah.
audience understands me. So I think that way it was really great, and the response was
Yeah.
so amazing. Honestly, I'm still like in awe of the people who supported it. Like it was their
Yeah.
own song, and it is their own song. I want it to be everybody's song,
Yeah,
not just mine.
because it is so relatable and the melody is like it melts your heart in a way. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I heard it on the third day, I guess. So I do this thing every day when I'm in the mood of listening to music. I go to the indie section of Spotify and I do this
Mm-hmm.
music hopping. So like from one artist to another,
Okay.
and I binge listen. So I don't know from where or like just Spotify suggested me a song. I heard it and then I went through your Spotify bio and I then I contacted you on Instagram. So
Mm-hmm.
like I guess it was second or third day. So that was the
Yeah.
like how I found you. And one more thing is I like just now talking to you, I could understand that you are not only an artist like a musician, but you also understand the business behind it. So like
Correct.
you understand the market. So
Correct.
what and also you said that there was a lot of marketing also from your partner side.
Right.
What was this like? Because I also see that on the Spotify also the cover art, it's one of the most beautiful cover art I have ever
Oh
seen.
yes.
So because
Yes.
and also that also like ropes in a lot of more listeners, right? So what is
Of
like that?
course. Of course it does. I mean, I think so. Let me talk about the artwork first. Marketing is like a huge aspect, so let's talk
Yeah,
about that later. Artwork was made by this person called Tora. She goes by the name of Handbas. And if you look at her
okay,
profile, I think it's one of the most beautiful artwork profiles I've ever
yeah,
seen. And I'm not comparing that with people around me. I'm comparing that to international people.
yeah,
See, the way she does her artwork is so unique. It's so unique that even if you don't like the artwork, say for
yeah,
example, which I personally very much like the artwork, but even if you
yeah,
don't like the artwork, it is made in such a way that it will still attract you. कि यार ये
yeah,
कैसा
correct.
artwork है? Let me just click
Yeah,
on it and
yeah, yeah,
let me just see what it is.
yeah,
So it's like a proper like handbas. I don't know if she realizes this or not, but her art is very attractive. It's
yeah.
very attractive. I still find myself going to her feed every now and then, and I don't know jack about art. मुझे बस ये
Yeah.
लगता है कि हाँ attractive है, चलो देखते हैं थोड़ा.
Right.
So the vision of that particular artwork, with the door and the girl pushing the
Yeah,
boy
yeah,
up, holding his hand and stuff. So that vision was actually planned by both me and Malvika. Like we
okay,
came up with that कि हमें कुछ ऐसा चाहिए sort of a thing.
okay,
And oh my god, if you look at the first draft of it and then you look
yeah,
at the final image of it,
yeah,
oh, you will lose your mind. It is the amount of detail that has gone into it, the
yeah,
amount of work that Tora put in. And
yeah,
honestly, you know what? So basically, I do this thing where I make people listen to the song. जो मेरे साथ
yeah, yeah,
associated है ना, I make them listen to the song. I'm like, if you believe in this, then work. Otherwise, don't work with this.
yeah,
Money is a different thing. Forget about
yeah,
money. If
yeah,
you don't believe in it, I don't want you to work on it. So she heard the song and she said, I believe in this more than you do, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm not even kidding, she did not take up any other project. She's just like, I need to make
Okay.
this right, and I need to make this right like 100%. So
Okay.
when I saw the final product, I was just like, man,
Yeah.
this is beautiful. And like, hats off to Handbuffs. Like, the vision that we had in our mind, she completely 100% understood that, and she put it down on a piece of paper. And
Okay.
honestly, like, usse I have no more expectations from an artist,
Yeah.
but she went all out for me, and
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why she's so special now. I think even for the next tracks that I'm going to do, she's going to be the lead
Yeah.
artwork on that for sure. Like, I don't think I have to say this out loud. She is going to be the lead artwork. So I think Handbuffs did a great job with that. Coming to the marketing aspect of it, so see, the thing is, there are two kinds of people. One who
Yeah.
think that if I make music, people will listen to it. वो तो सुन ही
Yeah.
लेंगे,
Yeah.
मतलब, because I have these many followers, ये लोग तो
Yeah.
पक्का ही सुन लेंगे, because these are the people who are engaged. They are so wrong. They are so wrong, because even if you look at your Instagram profile, see, Awaara, you have like 8,000 followers, if
Yeah.
I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
right? Around 8,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not more than 800 to 1,000 people are going to actually be interacting to you. Just like if I have
True.
1,500, not more than 150 to
Yeah.
200 people are going
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
interact with me.
That's true.
ये
Yeah.
हमेशा वो रहता है कि 10 to 12%
वो
of the audience
proportion
only
है. Yeah.
interact with you.
10% of your audience. Yeah.
Correct, right? So how do you get 50% of your audience, or how do you get 80%
Mm.
of your audience to interact with you? You interact with them. This is the
Yeah.
key. You
Yeah.
interact with them. You don't expect them to interact with you. So
Yeah.
this is one kind of people. The second kind of people is that, okay, fine, I will interact with people, but I will just keep pushing out content. I will make
Yeah.
200
Yeah.
posts in 1 month, so that people get annoyed and then they just like, keep chalo ye gana sunte. No, that is
Yeah.
also wrong. You need to make content that is relevant.
True.
I'm not asking you to make 200 posts. I'm asking you to make 50. But those 50 should
Okay.
be like, कि भाई, if I'm putting out the 40th and the 41st, ना बंदा wait कर रहा होगा, हाँ अब आएगा sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You get my point? तो
Yeah.
इन दोनों से ये दोनों points से का solution ये है. Number one, you need to engage with the audience, and number
Yeah.
two, you need to put out quality content. Quality over quantity, 100%, always. Okay. Now with Swarg, we knew that this is a song that will make people feel good. We
Okay.
had this
Yeah.
vision in
Yeah.
our minds. So we thought ki let's engage people in a sense ki let's ask them really personal questions. So we did this whole story thing where we asked people personal questions about their lives, and I
Yeah.
put myself out. Like, I became very vulnerable. So
Yeah.
for example, the first week I asked my people ki what are the three people who make your Swarg? For example,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
what are the
Yeah. I
three
have
people
seen
who
that
make your
story.
Swarg?
Yeah.
Exactly. And then before they answered, I answered the answer
Okay.
myself on video, and I
Yeah.
made myself vulnerable, so that people get like, okay, if he's making himself vulnerable, why don't I? And I kept
Yeah.
everything
True.
anonymous, so I didn't put their name in any answer that they were giving,
Yeah.
right? And dude, people opened up like crazy. People opened up like insanely. I'm not even kidding. There was
Yeah.
this one question where, like, I think I can say this now. It's a very sad thing, like that person, and I don't even know this person. So she said ki I asked this question which went something on the lines of, what is your favorite childhood memory? And she said, my father, cutting apples for me and feeding them to me. That's my favorite childhood memory. And then
Okay.
she messaged me. She doesn't, like, this person doesn't know me. She said, my father passed away 2 years back,
Okay.
and I don't want you to put that part. I'm just telling you, but that is my favorite childhood memory. And this one person who answered one of my questions, his who makes your Swarg sort of a thing, and she said, he wrote the answer as, it's my nani.
Yeah.
She's not with me anymore, but I hope wherever she is, she's looking over me. And like, it made me cry, man. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
to
That's
see
actually
people,
beautiful.
to
Like
see
people
random
connect
people,
with you on
man.
that like sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And matlab, forget about the business aspect of it, forget about the music for a
Yeah.
second. Bhai, if I don't know you and you're coming up to me and you're telling me something that has been pinching you to tell anyone for
Yeah.
for the last, I don't know how many years of your
Yeah.
life, that is an achievement for me, man. Like, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
You get my
Yeah.
point? And wo banda, ab wo, like, think about it, that person, because you made him feel that way, you made him feel so secure, and you put his emotions out, he or she is
Yeah.
always going to wait for your music. He or she is always going
True.
to wait for
True.
what's
Yeah.
next for you, right?
Yeah.
तो वो तो तुम्हारे साथ हमेशा associate हो गया है ना वे. Yeah, that is what an artist wants, right?
Yeah.
So
True.
I got so happy with the response. Like, I never thought ki people are going to open up on this extent
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
but then they did, and I think it was beautiful. It was the most beautiful thing ever. So
Yeah.
that was one. The second was obviously, getting people excited about the song. So मैं हर गाने हर post में I used to put out the ho वाला part.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you've
Yeah.
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because I knew that was a catchy part.
Yeah.
People are gonna look up to that part. So that was another strategy. And the third was कि I asked a lot of people who are my friends, a lot of close friends. So even if you look at my profile right now, a lot of the posts that are made, they're not made by me. The videos are not made by me. They're made
Okay.
by close friends of mine
Yeah.
who also believed in this song because
Yeah.
I told them about it and I asked for their support. And then they made these videos for me. They made these entertainment videos for me.
Yeah.
अब इसका क्या फायदा है? इसके दो फायदे हैं. One, you are associating yourself with a different person. Most of these people were musicians only. The people I connected
Okay.
with.
Yeah.
So एक चीज तो वो होगी कि एक एसोसिएशन होगी तुम्हारे दूसरे
Yeah.
आर्टिस्ट के साथ. दूसरी चीज, you do realize that this person is definitely going to repost that, right? Because it's his
Yeah.
his work,
Yeah.
it's his videos. तो मेरा क्या हो गया? मेरा एकदम से डबल हो गया. अगर किसी मेरे 1000 थे, उसके भी 1000 थे, तो
हाँ.
मेरी रीच 2000 हो गई.
Yeah.
मेरी
Yeah.
1000 नहीं रही अब रे. You get my point?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I did not have just one of these people. I had 36 of these people.
Okay.
36 of the closest friends of mine who associate me as an artist, who believe in my work. They
Yeah.
were on an everyday basis reposting my work, reposting my stories,
Yeah. Yeah.
answering those questions, being interactive.
Yeah.
उनसे क्या हुआ? 30 की वजह से 100 लोग और आ गए कि हाँ यार, maybe we
Correct.
should also
Correct.
interact.
Yeah.
200 लोग और आ गए, maybe we should also interact.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding, like throughout the journey, throughout that 1 month
Yeah.
of promoting the song, I met and talked to so many new people. Like
Yeah.
मेरा गाना रिलीज भी नहीं हुआ है अभी तक, and मैं
Okay.
बात कर रहा हूँ अभी, मतलब it's like I'm an artist and people are
Yeah.
appreciating
Yeah.
me as an artist. They haven't
Yeah.
heard the song yet.
Yeah.
So that was really beautiful कि मतलब so many people. I wasn't just a force of 1 or 2 with Malvika.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was a
Correct.
force of 40. अब मैं 40 लोगों के साथ आ रहा हूँ तो obviously मैं थोड़ा तो explode करूंगा ना.
Yeah.
So that is the thing. People, they get really like uncomfortable asking other people for help. उनकी ego
Yeah.
फंस
True.
जाती है
True.
या उनको
हाँ.
लगता है कि ये सही नहीं है या whatever.
Yeah.
Why यार? They are your friends. They are people who have in your life who believe in you no matter what you do. Even if you make
Yeah.
bad music, they're still gonna believe in you, right? वो 40
Yeah.
लोग तो
Yeah.
सुनेंगे चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए.
Correct.
So just give them a chance, trust them. That's what I think. And obviously, man, like this whole thing was obviously masterminded, like I said, by Malvika. They are
Hmm.
hats off to her. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I think the song wouldn't be half of what it is if it wasn't for her.
True.
Kudos to her, man. Kudos to
So,
her.
like, uh, what I see nowadays is with not only musicians, like every artist, because I have worked in the social media aspect of like whatever. So,
Mhm.
what happens with a lot of artists is they think that art is only meant to be like वो एक रहता है ना कि मतलब आर्ट सिर्फ पैसों के लिए नहीं करना है, हमें हमें आर्ट पुश आउट करना है
Right.
क्योंकि लाइक हमें चाहिए वो, दैट्स आवर नीड कि लोग हमारा काम देखें.
Right.
सो बट दे
Right.
डोंट अंडरस्टैंड कि it's 2020 now and social media has boomed like crazy. So you
Perfect.
need
Yeah.
to push out your best content and you also need to network with people. So I keep telling
Right.
my friends also कि they come to me कि like followers कैसे बढ़ाए या reach कैसे बढ़ाए. I tell them कि जब तक you don't go and interact with people, how will that increase, right? So
Correct.
and also this is what I feel about music also कि 20 years back making a piece of like music was tougher. Now it is very easy because like not
Correct.
that easy also, but still better than 20 years back.
Relatively.
You
Yes.
can make music now because you have all the softwares. You can learn it on YouTube. You can create
Correct.
music at your own home, like at your own place, and you can just push it out. Like there are so many
Correct.
mediums to push it out. So what are your tips for a new musician who's like breaking into the industry?
Okay, so yeah, सबसे पहले तो obviously you need to be good with music. Okay, you need to know your instruments well, you need to know your voice well, and you need to know like who are you as a brand.
Yeah.
Because see, like I'm gonna say this once and for all. When you enter into the music field or any field for that matter, any creative field where you have an image, okay,
Yeah.
you don't think of yourself as a human being anymore. I mean, you are a human being. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
degrade anybody, but you don't think of yourself as a human being. You think of yourself as a concept. You think of yourself as a brand. You think of yourself
Okay.
as
Yeah.
an idea
Yeah.
that people
Yeah.
have in
True.
their heads, right?
Yeah.
That is your brand. अब हम लोग
Yeah.
क्यों Apple के products लेते हैं? Because Apple has an idea. Apple
Yeah.
has a brand. कि भाई
Yeah.
ये है best sort of a thing.
Yeah,
It
true,
may
true,
or may
true.
not be, but
Yeah,
true, right? So you obviously need to start thinking on those lines, and then you need to decide कि, okay, this is the kind of person. Just take a reference of an artist. This is the
hmm,
kind of person
hmm,
I want to end up being for this
yeah,
particular audience, and then work towards that. कभी भी ना ऐसे मत सोचो कि okay, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna enter into it and then see
hmm,
how it goes.
hmm,
Like, don't go into anything without a plan. First of all,
yeah,
okay, first of all, have the skills. Second of all, have a plan, and third, have like interact with good enough people to execute that plan. Like, okay, I know that I know the software, but I don't know it
yeah,
that well कि अगर मैं खुद mixing और master करूँगा तो मेरा बहुत गंदा गाना बनेगा, right?
correct.
So I need to hire somebody, I need to spend some money, right? I need to accept that fact because I am
Hmm,
not skilled enough. So जहाँ पे
yeah,
तुम नहीं हो, nobody is asking you to be. Even if you don't know how to play a guitar, for example, you can obviously hire a session musician to play
yeah,
that
yeah,
for you,
yeah,
right?
true.
But you need to be able to explain your vision to him कि हाँ भाई ये मैं plan कर रहा हूँ और मैं
Yeah,
इस तरह से गाने वाला हूँ इसके ऊपर. You get my point?
yeah,
So I think first of all having the skills, second of all having the image or the brand in your head, and
yeah,
third of all having that execution capability and the power in you कि मेरे को
yeah,
इस तरह का चाहिए और मेरे को इस particular audience को
correct.
target करना है. Those are the only three things that are very very important. And
Yeah,
again, like, I know there are a lot of people who do music just for themselves. They don't really
yeah,
care about streams or how many people come and click their profile. They
yeah,
just want to
yeah,
put good music out. And I understand that. But you also need to understand that at some point, if you're doing that, you're never gonna be a big name. You're never gonna be a
true,
household name. Ki,
true.
bhai, if somebody's talking about people like Raftar or Bacha, not that they're
Yeah,
great musicians. I'm just putting an
yeah,
example out.
yeah,
They are talking about that because they have a brand. They
yeah,
have like
correct.
millions of followers, and they don't care about you because they have a million other people who will listen
Yeah,
to their music
yeah,
and who will appreciate their music. And the reason for that is because they worked hard towards that brand as well, along with the
true.
music. So if you ever want to be a household name, you need to take music as a business, not while making it. Maybe while making it, think of it as a proper, like, as a musician,
Yeah,
as something that makes you happy, and this is the kind of music I want to make. But when
yeah,
you're done with that, you need to have the mind of a salesman. Salesman आता है ना घर पे वैसे बेचता है
uh,
तुम्हें कि मेरा खरीदो, मेरा मेरा कार्ड खरीदो, मेरा खरीदो. You have to be like that in the
yeah.
in the beginning.
So
And
what
I
you're saying
remember,
is that when you're creating a piece of music, you need to be an artist, and once you're
yes,
done creating that piece of art, then you have to go into that mode कि अब मैं businessman हूँ, अब मुझे ये बेचना है,
correct,
right?
correct. And again, that is subject to the condition whether or want not you want millions of people to listen to your music. If you
Yeah,
don't, if you're happy with the way things are, don't think about it. No issues. I'm
yeah,
not like, nobody's judging you for that. But then you need to accept that you won't be a household name because
yeah,
that is a necessary and sufficient aspect for your music to be big. Okay, I'll give you an
yeah,
example. A bad piece of music with good promotion will work. Even if people
okay,
listen to it and say this music is trash, it will work.
hmm.
It will have streams. It will in a negative way improve the artist's name. But
Yeah,
a good piece of music that has no branding will never work because nobody will
yeah,
know about it.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
social media is so saturated that you cannot be unique by without making an effort, by just having
okay,
500 followers or 1,000 followers,
yeah,
right? You're
yeah,
not unique. So you need to be unique. So
yeah,
this
true,
is just a very broad example of it.
okay. And we talked about all the technical stuff and all the like what was the journey of Swarg, but
Mhm.
now that Swarg has reached this level, like it's almost at like 12,000 streams now. Um,
Yeah.
how does it feel? Like the fan base is obviously increasing now. So what is
Mhm.
that feeling like of popularity?
यार अभी तो मतलब ऐसा
And
कुछ नहीं है
before you say, I'll also add one more point. I saw your story yesterday or day before yesterday. Um, you had said that someone in Himachal was listening to your music in
yeah.
the car. Yeah. So how does that feel?
that was insane. I mean, honestly, like the first time I like जो परसों हुआ था, the reason why I had to put it as a story was because I was flipping, like in the
Yeah,
most general sense, I was flipping कि भाई हो क्या रहा है sort of a thing.
yeah,
But the popularity aspect of it, I think, like, I'm somebody till the time that I can be at least. क्योंकि यार
yeah,
एक point के ऊपर, like, if you have like, I also understand that, bhai, if you have 3 lakh followers, if you have a million
yeah,
followers in the future sometime,
yeah,
hypothetically,
yeah.
then you're not going to be able to interact with all of your fans.
Yeah,
Because,
that's true.
you
Yeah,
can't, like, as a human, it's not
3
possible.
lakhs is a
But
huge
for
number.
me, yeah, 3 lakhs is a huge number. Like,
Yeah.
think about people like Ritviz or people like
Hmm, hmm,
Anuj Jain or, big people, Pratik Kuhad and
hmm.
stuff. They can't interact with everybody now, right? क्योंकि वो तो बहुत बड़े हो गए हैं अभी. But I particularly want ki like if I'm ever on that path of becoming big, and if I ever like have that kind of a reach or something, till the time I can at least, I really want to connect with people. I really want to be associated with people, and I really want to be an artist that thinks about his or her audiences. I don't want to be the snob who just makes music and expects ki bhai ye to chal jayega, ye to maine acha bana diya sort of a thing. No, I don't want to be that person. So the popularity aspect, definitely it feels good. Yeah, it feels good when you see, like, forget about popularity. It feels good when somebody texts you and says, the song is amazing, it made me cry or something. That is, but you cannot equate that feeling with streams or money or anything like that, can you? But again, wahi hai ki once it grows, I don't want to be leaving people behind. And in fact, like, I have this joke with those 35 people who helped me out, right? I have a group on WhatsApp, okay? So it goes by the name of, I don't know, Swarg/Raeyna or something like that. And I interact with everybody on that only. Okay? So I have this thing ki if I ever become like a huge artist and I have like concerts and stuff, you guys will always have the first seats. The first 35 people who are sitting on that will always be you, and you'll always have like a bottle of alcohol, even if it's not permitted. And like you'll be having all of the fun. So I have this joke because I want to give back at the end of the day as an artist. What is music, right? My way of giving people back. So I think that is what it is. And popularity is always great. Yeah, it's fun, but you need to make sure that you don't like go crazy with it.
But do you think that when you have those numbers, in a way your art changes, like, because people are expecting something much better from you now, like the expectations can never go down now.
Yeah, see, that depends on you. First of all, that depends on your skill. Bhai, if I don't have the capability of making something as good as, for example, Swarg in the next song, you can't blame me for that, ना. मतलब मैं तो अपना 100% कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, पहली चीज तो. And दूसरी चीज, if you have a vision, if you know कि okay, मेरे को ये म्यूजिक बनाना है, मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, अपन को नहीं पड़ता फर्क कि लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं, मैं ऐसा बनाएगा. मेरा नेक्स्ट गाना, in fact, I'll tell you, my next song is something that is very, very like poles apart from Swarg. It's something very different from Swarg. So, but in a good way. Like, if I now see that's the thing. That's where marketing comes into play. तुम्हारा एप्पल क्या करता है? एप्पल बोलता है मैं जैक हटा रहा हूँ, तुम नहीं सुन सकते आईफोन पे गाने अपने ईयरफोन्स लगा के. तो हमने क्या किया? हमने ये खरीद लिया, हमने वायरलेस खरीद लिए. बट हमने एप्पल को नहीं बोला कि तुमने ऐसा क्यों किया, राइट? तो इट डिपेंड्स ऑन एप्पल, नॉट यू. जस्ट लाइक इट डिपेंड्स ऑन मी, नॉट द पीपल, कि मैं किस तरह का म्यूजिक उनको देना चाहता हूँ एंड मैं किस डायरेक्शन में उनको पुश करना चाहता हूँ. दिस इज वेयर मार्केटिंग कम्स इनटू प्ले. इफ आई मार्केट इट वेल, people are going to be like, हाँ यार, ये तो अब इस तरह का आर्टिस्ट बन गया. Wow, this is also good music. So it all depends on your brand. And I'm telling you, brand is so strong, you can do whatever the hell you want to do and still have people appreciating you. Right? So it's a very big aspect for me and for any other artist for that matter. So that is something that I put a lot of my effort into, for sure. So that is the thing. It changes if you want it to change. If you think कि हाँ यार अब मेरे को शायद इसी तरह के गाने बना लेने चाहिए because people are appreciating that. It doesn't if you put your foot down. So I have put my foot down. I'm not going to be that artist. I'm going to change it completely now.
And like, because this is what happens with a lot of people. Like, when the numbers come in, so suddenly their art changes. It becomes like more than the artist. Now the art is being made for the people. Like, unka perspective se wo like ab ban raha hai. So that's why I asked you this thing. But it's actually beautiful that you really want to create what you actually like. So that's the best thing.
That is.
What do you think about the music industry in general? Because like when I was talking to Shirish, so he told me that in as such there is no industry in India. Like, there's Bollywood, but then Bollywood music is, it's not that, how should I put it without like saying the exact words? Like,
no, it's fine.
You
I
get it,
understand.
Right? Yeah.
I understand.
So what is your take on that?
Yeah, see, okay. First of all, I don't want to discredit Bollywood. I'm not a huge Bollywood fan. I never see myself as being a Bollywood artist. Let me just put that out first. But I see Bollywood as some really great musicians, really, really great musicians coming up together and working on the whims of the movie. That is not the kind of music industry I want to associate myself with. क्योंकि वो लोग भी क्या ही कर रहे हैं यार, वो लोग मतलब you can't question their musicality. I mean, Bollywood people can make the kind of music you will never like you will never expect from them. A person who's doing the riff of some cheap old Bollywood song, he is a
Yeah.
huge blues musician, he's a rock artist, but he's
Yeah.
doing that just to, one, to pay his bills, two,
Yeah.
because that is the requirement, because that is what he's being
Yeah.
told to do. Usko
Yeah.
karne ka wo man nahi hai. Just like, so the thing is that at least the Bollywood industry don't think that they are not capable. They are capable,
Yeah.
but they just know कि यार this is working, this works for the
Okay.
user
Yeah.
audience
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
people,
That's
so
what people are
we are going to,
consuming. Yeah.
yeah, that's what people are consuming, so we're going to make this. Ab tum, if people start listening to good music, say for
Yeah.
example, hypothetically 1 billion people start listening to good music in India,
Yeah.
Bollywood will end, or
Yeah.
Bollywood will
True.
start
True.
making music that is good,
Better music.
right?
Yeah.
Bollywood will start doing jazz music if
Yeah.
people start listening to jazz music. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it all depends on the people. उनको बस ये पता है कि what works for the general audience, and
Hmm.
they're hell-bent on making that. क्यों? क्योंकि उनको पैसे कमाने हैं उससे. For them music is a business, or
Yeah.
for them music is a subsidiary for movies. कि मेरे को मूवी के लिए गाना बनाना है, अब ऐसे ही गाना बनाना है, ऐसी मूवी
Yeah.
बनी है तो ऐसे
True.
ही गाना
True.
बनाना है, right? तो I think because of that, at least with the growing generation that we have abhi right now, people who are educated, people who have a good taste of music, not even
Hmm.
educated, people who just have a good taste of
Yeah.
music, they detest Bollywood because of this reason, because they think it's no good, right?
Yeah.
Which is true, it is no good. I would rather not use the word no good. I would say saturated in the sense it's
Yeah.
still working for the majority of the population who's not listening
Yeah.
to music, who's just listening to music as a source of entertainment, not for the music,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or for a movie. So if that scenario in the future changes, then people like Pratik Kuhad, people like Ritviz, people like Nuclear, people like Anuv Jain, people like the Local Train, people like When Chai Met Toast and the
Yeah.
Yellow
Yeah.
Diaries
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Kapao and
Yeah.
for that matter Raeyna would become big artists, right?
Yeah.
And
True.
Shirish would become big artists.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't, then we will always have to struggle and strive, right? And I'm telling you, as somebody who's in the scene, I personally feel that it's changing. I personally
Okay.
feel that the kind of response indie artists had at some point, that is growing now, and that is growing for the better now. You have a lot of indie artists getting a lot of recognition. People who are
Yeah. Yeah.
hardcore Bollywood guys are listening to Pratik Kuhad today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously the scenario is changing. It's definitely going to take some time, and it's definitely going to take a lot of effort from our side as well as from the people's side. But I think
True.
it will change. I think in the future, Bollywood will either start poaching indie
Yeah.
artists or they will start making music that is, equivalent or good enough with the indie
Yeah.
artists. And then
Yeah.
that is where they will, as an industry, change or
Yeah.
revolutionize. So मेरे ख्याल से ये होगा अभी. I am personally hopeful that, at least with the audience that I'm around, they listen to really good music. In fact, the people
Yeah.
who appreciated Swarg also, they also listen to good music. I know that.
True.
So I personally feel that this is only bound to increase, and it also depends on you. Ki how well are you able to steer your music to those people? How much are they able to relate with your music? कि
True.
भाई अब
True.
Bollywood थोड़ा हो गया ज़्यादा, अब ये सुनते हैं, sort of a thing.
Hmm.
How well you're able to do that, and
Yeah.
that's what actually I see myself as. I want to be the person who makes, like, I'm not classically trained or anything like that, right? I see myself as a indie musician who wants to divert people, not exactly take away from Bollywood, who wants to
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
divert people कि भाई तुम ये भी सुनो,
Yeah.
तुम वो भी सुनो, कोई बात नहीं, तुम ये भी
Yeah.
तो
It
सुनो
can.
यार.
It can
This is just,
coexist. Yeah.
it can coexist, it can definitely coexist, and I'm telling you, it can be bigger at some point. क्योंकि तुम US
Yeah.
में देखो ना, US में there is no industry. People on Weekend or Miley Cyrus are not working for Hollywood over
Yeah.
there. They're
Yeah.
working because they want to fucking make music. They don't
Yeah.
care,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? So you want to be among those people, and that's when that kind of an industry will start existing in India. And I think
Yeah.
that time is coming within the 5-10 years. अभी
Yeah.
देखो ना तुम, hip hop में इतना ज़्यादा वो हुआ है. People like
True.
Divine, Emiway,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
become such big artists now.
Yeah.
So obviously
Suddenly there was a boom. Yeah.
so this is the trend. अब ये धीरे धीरे हर genre में आ रहा है. अब ये धीरे
Okay.
धीरे expel होगा. People
Yeah.
will start appreciating this music as well. So let's hope for the best. And
Yeah.
I'm
I
personally, as
really
an
hope
artist, so
that
I'm
this
very happy.
happens because like
I
Bollywood
me too,
music
man.
after a point it's like it's repetitive and it's very objectifying
Definitely.
for the especially for the women of India. So in
Right.
that sort it needs to change. Yeah.
True.
I
True.
want to
I
I want
mean,
to ask you something.
hmm,
Before Raeyna became Raeyna, who did
yeah.
I want to be? Like like what was your or who was your inspiration? Like what is that
Oh
story?
my God. I mean, it sounds like very cheesy and fangirl like, but
Yeah.
uh, I mean, I was super crazily inspired by Ed Sheeran all my life.
Okay.
I think he's still the biggest inspiration. Abhi he stopped making music like for the last
Yeah.
1.5, 2 years. He's not been very active in the music scene ever since he released his Number Six collaboration,
Hmm.
which was a great album by the way. But I think Ed Sheeran was like the biggest person I thought कि यार ये बंदा कितना cool है यार कितना कितना
Yeah.
amazing है. So I always so like my idea, when I started like thinking of myself as an artist, I wanted to be India's Ed Sheeran. कि भाई
Okay.
I'm making like lyrical
Yeah.
music on those lines, but I'm
Yeah.
making it in Hindi sort of a thing. So he's definitely a big inspiration. Baki are artists. So I'm not an Indian artist. I'm essentially like
Yeah.
a Western vocalist. So I listen to a lot of Western music. So Abhi, just I was telling you, I've been a huge hip hop fan. So I'm listening to
Yeah.
a lot of Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre. I'm
Yeah.
listening to
Yeah. Yeah.
Roddy Ricch. I'm listening to
Yeah.
J. Cole, Eminem, all these people. Isse pehle I had a huge singer-songwriter phase. So I was
Okay.
listening to people like Damien Rice, Ed Sheeran, of course,
Yeah.
people like R&B artists, Justin Timberlake, and all these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usse pehle I had a proper metal phase. So I was
Okay.
I was listening to Avenged Sevenfold. I was listening
Yeah.
to Breaking Benjamin. I was listening to rock artists. I was listening to Nirvana. I was listening
Yeah.
to Guns N' Roses a lot. तो मेरे साथ यही है कि मेरे phases आते रहते हैं. मैं change करता रहता
Yeah.
हूँ अपना music, the stuff that I listen to. But yes, what I relate with the most is, you know,
Yeah.
someone like Ed Sheeran for sure, for sure.
Okay. And
Lately I've also been really inspired by this artist called Billie Eilish. Have you heard of Billie Eilish?
yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. So Billie Eilish's music I think is very very cool,
Yeah.
very cool, so
Yeah.
very very unique I think.
100%.
So yeah.
So, like, if I ask you to recommend like three or maybe five artists or bands in India, who would they be?
Uh, Kapow,
Yeah. I
Shirish.
guess that. Yeah.
uh, these are two because these are very close to me. Two people.
Yeah.
There's another artist like who's a senior. His name is Bhau. So his name is Rohit Singh Bhau. He goes by the
Okay.
name of Bhau. His artist name is
Okay.
Bhau. He makes some really good music. In fact, so he's from Jammu, right?
Yeah.
He's a Jammu guy. So he makes like music in Dogri. Dogri is the language and they
Oh,
use
that's
over there,
actually beautiful. Yeah.
which is
Yeah. Yeah.
so cool. Like I think
Yeah.
you should go listen to one of his songs. It's on YouTube. It's called Makhir. I think
Makir.
that song, yeah, Makhir. Makhir.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Makhir's meaning is honey. It
Okay.
means honey in English. So Makhir is the Dogri for that. So he's a really great artist for sure. Listen to him. And if you're talking about like big artists, like big indie artists, like
Yeah.
whose names are now clearer to us, definitely somebody who's on the rise right at this moment is Anuv Jain. Anuv Jain is
Yeah. Yeah.
kicking people
Yeah.
at this
100%.
point,
Yeah.
kicking with his music.
Yeah.
Prateek Kuhad is definitely one. I
Yeah.
really admire Ritviz's music. And if you get into hip hop, please get to know about people like Says on the Beat, get to know
Hmm.
about people like Prabdeep, get to know about people like Seedhe Maut. Um,
Yeah.
Divine is like, he's
Divine.
now a
Yeah.
staple, but
Yeah.
of course. Who else? I think there's a band called The Yellow Diaries, like I said. Yellow
Okay.
Diaries
Yeah.
ka music, the production style of it, just is
Yeah. It's damn good.
it, it's insane. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's out of the
Yeah.
world. So that, I mean, up to here, the thing is, now if I mention names like Local Train, they are now staple because
Yeah.
people do
They
listen to
are
Local
quite
Train, right?
famous now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not going to mention the Local Train. I'm going to mention people who are on the rise at this point, and these
Yeah.
people are on the rise at this point. I think like even not just like the popular names right now. I think even like people like Shirish or people
Hmm.
like Kapow who are like hellbent on making such good music at this point.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
going to see a lot of fame in this coming revolutionary
Yeah.
indie scene sort of a thing. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? So, and Abhi, there are so many people who I know who haven't started making music yet. They haven't had their
Yeah.
first releases, and they're so good. I'm sure you've
Yeah.
heard of this guy called Abdul Samad Khan
Yeah. Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's now coming up with his first. Like, I don't want to say anything. Like, I don't want you to know about this. Don't want you to
Yeah.
come to come
Okay.
from me because it's a surprise sort of a thing. But he's also working in this line now, so he's
Okay.
working towards that direction.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say. So
Yeah.
अभी तो बहुत लोग आने वाले हैं अभी इसके अंदर तो
Okay,
it's
yeah.
obviously going to increase for the better. So
We can
yeah,
hope
सबको
that
सुनो.
the scene is going to change like completely now.
The scene will change. The scene will change for sure. The scene will change, and it will change. एक दिन आएगा ऐसे ऐसे flip करेगा scene.
Yeah.
People will be like,
I
चलो
I
ये
really
सुनना है.
hope actually that happens like as fast as it can, because we need good music, right? And especially in times
I
like
swear.
these when everyone is sitting at home and
I
there
know,
comes a
man.
point that you need music, man. You actually need
True.
music. Yeah.
I
Um.
completely agree.
So, like two last questions and very serious ones at that. First one, if hello, am I audible?
Hello. Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, my screen went off. So, like first one is if there's a musician say about 15 to 18 का जो age gap होता है उसके बीच में, he is trying to break into the scene. What would be
Mhm.
your advice to that guy or girl कि क्या future है, क्या scope है, and what should they do to not only create good music but also money from that music?
Okay, see, money is a different aspect right now. I'm not thinking of being blowing up or being big as something money
Yeah,
can, something as monetary. क्योंकि उसमें time लगेगा. क्योंकि like no matter how good an artist you are, people hesitate before giving you money. Okay, that's
hmm,
for sure.
hmm.
So I'm not thinking about this in terms of money, but definitely if you want to blow up, like I said, the three things that you need to have is like, get first of all, have the skills. The
Yeah,
second is create a brand, and third is push that brand to people. Like make people, yeah, just think about it. Just make people think like you're Apple. Just make people think
yeah,
that your brand is the best brand, and there is no other brand available for them to go to.
yeah,
That is
yeah,
the only way you can be big. Because if
yeah,
I say Eminem is the best artist in the world, of course he's got the skills, but he
yeah,
also had such mad distribution strategies and just
yeah.
such mad
True, true.
business
Yeah,
strategies, right? Ki now even people in Bangladesh know or people in India know
yeah,
कि भाई ये Eminem कौन है, and people listen to the songs. कैसे हुआ
yeah,
भाई ये? Because he has a brand, because he was able to percolate his brand to countries rather than
yeah,
just states in
yeah,
the
yeah.
universe. So for sure, man. In fact, like I know this guy. He's pretty young. In fact, 15 to 18 की range में तुम बता रहे हो ना,
Okay.
तो I just got so he goes by the name of Karm Sola,
Come again?
KARMSOLAH. Karm Sola.
Okay.
KARMSOLAH. That's his stage
Okay.
name. I think his real name is Karan. And he's
Okay.
17. He's still in like school, I think.
Yeah.
And he made this song around a year or two back, which is called Two Hair Con, which is like it's on
Yeah.
Spotify and Google,
Yeah.
Apple Music. You can search that. It has more than 2 lakh streams at this point.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he made it with the label. It's called G16. G16 is also doing very well. Although he left G16 abhi, and now he's doing like music on his own as an independent
Okay.
artist. And even right now, like he has such great contacts. Like he's in direct contact with people like Zayden, you know,
Okay.
who
Nice.
who
Yeah.
are like so
Yeah.
big, right? So वो कैसे किया उसने? Because he's really good and he's very determined in making what he
Yeah.
makes, and he has a brand. He has a very peculiar style in which he does it, and it's very very great. It's attractive
Yeah.
as hell. It's super
Okay.
cool. Like so, he has a vision, right? He has a
Yeah.
name for himself. कि when I hear Consola, I can expect this, and this is something that whatever I'm expecting, it's good. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
listen to his new song, no matter
Yeah.
what. So, matlab, again, it always comes down to the brand once you're good at
Yeah.
making music. So that's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just a second. My light is flickering. I don't know why.
yeah. No worries.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
It's still flickering. Oh damn.
No. I think it's
It's
okay now.
flickering in my screen. I don't know why. Yeah. It shouldn't flicker now. Okay.
hmm
So then the second serious question would be, um, how should a musician tell his or her family that this is what I want to do, and what should be the role of parents in this?
Yeah. See, the thing is, first of all, you need to first of all take a stand for your own self. You need to be confident enough with your art, and you need to be confident not in the sense कि हाँ मैं कर लूँगा sort of a thing. मतलब मेरे से हो जाएगा. ऐसे नहीं.
Mm-hmm.
मतलब 1 second. Excuse me. You need to be confident realistically कि how
Yeah,
can I sustain myself. क्योंकि parents का क्या होता है, the only thing they care about is how will this person sustain himself. क्योंकि हमारा बेटा है, we're always not going to be there. कैसे करेगा ये खुद, मतलब is music the only thing he can do and get paid or something like that. So you need to think of music realistically in a monetary way, of course. And initially, obviously, like everybody knows this, ki music is not going to pay off initially when you start doing music, right? It's going to pay off dhire once you become big, you become an established person or something. So you need to think about those lines first of all, and then make a decision if you want to do music full time or if you want to wait till you can you are big enough to actually shift to that direction. Like for me right now, I'm doing a job as well. Do I like that job? Maybe, yeah, but not as much as music. But I know I'm doing that because not because I'm not confident, but because I know that this is a constant source of income, and not because my parents can't support me. But I know that अगर मैं एक individual हूँ जिसको पैसे चाहिए या जिसको अपनी life जीनी है, it can't just be through music at this point, considering the situation that we're in, of course, and because it pays less as well. So that's the reason why I'm doing that. It'll be sort of a side income and it is also going to support my music. मेरे को वहाँ से पैसे मिल रहे तो I'm obviously going to put it into my music, right? And help my music grow. So that is one. You need to be confident about your own self. And second, I think, I mean, I don't want to say this for everybody, but at least in my family, I've been very fortunate enough कि if my parents say कि if you want to leave your job and if you want to do music, and in fact I've told them if I ever if I feel like I'm doing this in the right direction and I think that I have a future in this, I will leave everything. I will not do anything academic and I will do that. And they have 100% support with me. We are decently well off. We don't really care that much about money as well, and I know I will be able to sustain myself. They have that kind of confidence in me. वो तो मुझे बोलते हैं कि बेटा जब तुम्हारा मन करे तुम कर लेना. But again, to reach that level also, I had to prove myself, prove that to my parents, right? I had to be associated with music for the last 10 years. I had to, make music that people appreciate. I had to get a following. I had to do all those things. I had to show them कि मैं कर सकता हूँ ये चीज. मैं बस अभी नहीं कर पा रहा क्योंकि मेरे पास शायद ज्यादा टाइम नहीं है because मैं कुछ और लगा हुआ. तो एक चीज तो ये है और दूसरी चीज parents also need to kind of understand, get a little progressive कि this is a growing field. Just think about music as a startup, okay? Nobody wants to do it, but once it blows, everybody will be doing it. Right? If it's like a startup, right? Tech company है, Airtel है. Airtel ने काम किया, लेकिन it wasn't able to grow. But once it grew, every engineer wanted to work in Airtel.
So that's what happened with hip hop, right? In like after the Gully Boy came.
Yes, exactly. That's what happened. Now, obviously, if you're into hip hop for 1 year and people like Divine and Emmy have been doing hip hop for the last 10 years, they are going to be famous before you, right? तो तुम्हें वो मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. Similarly, यहाँ पर भी अब जब ये blow होगा, तो सबसे पहले blow किसके लिए होगा? Blow होगा प्रतीक कोड के लिए, क्योंकि प्रतीक कोड के 4 लाख से सीधा 4 मिलियन फॉलोअर्स जाएंगे एक दिन, ठीक है? और फिर तुम्हारे जाएंगे, अगर तुम अच्छा बना रहे हो तो तुम्हारे शायद 20,000 से 30,000 जाएंगे, क्योंकि तुम उस वैगन में नहीं हो. लेकिन अगर तुम उस वैगन पे पहले से थे तो ऑब्वियसली वो ब्लो अप करेगा तो तुम्हें फायदा होगा. तो people also, like musicians, like parents also need to understand that this is a growing field. People are getting directed towards this and people are actually doing good work in this. तो उनको थोड़ा सा aware उस sense में भी होना पड़ेगा. And बच्चों को obviously like they have to think about their lives in a more realistic sense. Like if I'm thinking about it in a realistic sense, I will be like, okay, right now maybe I cannot do that full time. उससे ज्यादा पैसे नहीं मिलेंगे मुझको, and I'll be living very hand to mouth personally for my own self. So maybe I should do something. And abhi also, like I joke about this, I'm living 2 lives. One that is giving me, one that I'm trading my time for money, and one in which I'm trading my time for my happiness. And do I like it? Maybe not that much, but I know I need to make this effort to make people who are close to me happy and to make myself also happy. कि मेरे को ये करना पड़ेगा sort of a thing.
Okay.
Right. तो ये हमेशा एक balance maintain करके चलना चाहिए. And obviously, if you're confident enough, realistic sense में, go for it, man. Go for it. Like, मतलब Mayank, who's in Kapaw, he was also doing a job अभी 1 साल पहले, and he quit his job अभी like last year only. And like I think that is one of the best decisions he ever made. मतलब because he's so good with his stuff, and I mean, no, forget about him. I am so confident in him that he's going to blow up. That he deserves this. Like he it's expected of him to do this full time. You get what I'm saying? But वही है कि you need to kind of believe in your own self. And he's such a great person. Like not just musically, he's so disciplined. He's very like he knows what he wants. Very focused in his life. तो यार obviously बात है ना यार, अगर वो चीज कर रहा है तो उसने सब कुछ रैशनल्स डिसाइड करके करी होगी. So
True.
it's always about a realistic approach कि this is the solution that I'm coming to and this is something that I'm confident with. Then
Yeah.
do it. Then nobody's stopping you. So and also parents need to understand, be a little aware कि यार
Yeah.
अगर बोल रहा है तो कुछ दिमाग लगा के बोल रहा होगा, right? ऐसे हवा में नहीं बोल रहा होगा sort of. They need to
Yeah.
have that trust in you. People
Yeah.
don't have trust. Like parents usually don't have trust because we're small, we don't know what we're doing, the
Yeah.
typical
Yeah.
parent stuff. But they need to understand कि because of the large amount of exposure we have today, हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा smart हैं. मतलब at this point, मतलब an 18-year-old who knows how to use Instagram, who has 4,000 followers, is very smart.
Yeah.
Because he reached that point where he can get 4,000 followers at the age of 18. So
Yeah.
imagine, Guru, what will he do when he's 30,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
True. True.
you need to look at the potential, and you need to factor in the exposure that we have, like as our generation that we have. So
Yeah.
that is very important for a parent, and for a student it's very important, for a child it's very important to look at himself or herself as a perspective, like in other people's perspective कि मैं क्या हूँ और मैं किस तरह से grow कर सकता हूँ, and have a
Yeah.
realistic like idea of that in
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
minds. So that is my answer. दोनों
Okay.
तरफ से होना चाहिए.
Cool.
Yeah.
One last thing. This is like my team asked for this because they are like, "Ki, you invited Shirish and you forgot to ask him to sing." So I would like to
Oh.
ask you to sing this work for us because I completely forgot to
Okay.
ask Shirish to sing.
I'll do that. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like I actually just woke up abhi. Like
Okay.
that's the reason why I asked you to switch it to like 15 minutes because
Yeah.
like my job's been killing me, man. Like I haven't been able to sleep very well. So
Yeah.
I slept like I slept at like 1 or 2 last night, and I was sleeping till 4. When I 3:58 time
Okay.
I was like I think I should text Awaara. I should ask him to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
this 15 minutes late or whatever. So अभी मेरी आवाज इतनी खुली नहीं है, so don't judge me. But yeah,
No.
this
No.
is how it goes. This is Swarg. Can you hear it?
Perfect.
खामियां ढूंढी इस जग में बहुत, काटी तेरे बिना रातें वो जब, रातों की सारी वो बातें याद आए ना जब खो जाते हैं सफेरे में सब. तूने सिखाया जीने का वो पल, दुख में दिखाया हंसी का वो पल, छोड़ दिया जब मुझे मेरे हाल पे बाहों ने तेरी दिखाया वो स्वर्ग. तू मैं हम मिल जाए जब हो जागे थे हम जब ये बातें जो सारी, जब दिल की जुड़ी थी कहानी हमारी, तेरे बिना जैसे सूखा है पानी, कश्ती दिन किनारी आरी बंधारी, मदहोशी में थोड़ा रो जाने दो, सांसों को सांसों में खो जाने दो, आंखों पे तेरी जो वारा मैं जाऊं, थोड़ा मुझको मर जाने दो, बस जाने दो. तेरी कमी ही जैसे नमी नरम सी हो जाती है हर घड़ी, बेरहम है तेरी यादें बड़ी, बातें समझ मेरी है कुछ तेरा भी मुझसे है नाता पुराना, अधूरा है टूटा है पर सबसे पूरा भी, तू भी है मैं भी जहाँ उस जगह पे भी तू मैं हम मिल जाए जहाँ हो लिए क्या है मेरा तू एक पल भी ना सह पाऊं मैं फासले बस जा इस दिल में क्या है खफा तू खो जाऊं मैं पर लकीरें इन हाथों की तेरे ही हाथ में तू मैं हम चाहे चाह हो हो
That is beautiful,
Thank you.
man.
Thank you, man.
I
Thank you
have,
so much.
you know what I have done? Like, I have this playlist which is called Greatest Music of All Time. So I have actually added the song to that playlist. It is
Oh my
that good.
God, man.
Yeah.
That is so sweet of you.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on the show and telling us the whole journey of a musician and also of Swarg. So yeah.
Thank you so much for having me, man. This was a lot of fun for me. I think interviews they help you like get a greater insight of you as well every
Yeah.
time you speak it out loud. So it's not just the people; it's also me who gets
Yeah.
a better understanding of my own
Yeah.
self.
True.
So thank you for having me. It was a great pleasure
Yeah.
to do this, man. This was
Yeah.
amazing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
I
hope
loved
so.
it,
We'll
man.
do this again because there's a whole list of questions and I haven't asked like half of it. So soon,
For
like
sure,
very
man.
soon. Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
Let's do it after my next song, okay? I would love
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
this again.
100%. Like I'm ready.
Perfect. I love
Perfect.
that.
Okay. Just a
Chalo, man.
second.
Thank you so much.